Hey y'all, I'm Jenni Boller with Century 21 Kearney & Associates, and I'm here with Charlie Hoitt today. We are both realtors, and he does a little bit of property management and as well as selling homes, but we have something super important to talk to you about today, and it is scams. So we're both going to have a couple of stories and just a little, word of caution. I recently had a buyer who I'd been working with already. We had a buyer's rep agreement signed in place so we could show houses. I'd already showed them a couple of houses, and they called me one day and said, hey, we really want to see this house. I looked it up, it was a legit listing, and so no big deal. We ran over there the next day whenever I had some time to show, and we got there and she's looking around and she's like, this is it, this is the perfect house. What do I do? Well, I usually do a buyer's consultation originally, and so we'd already kind of talked about the process and contracts and offers and things like that. So I was like, well, we would write an offer and then we'd kind of go from there, make sure that the seller is going to agree to it. And she's like, well, is that how it works for rent to own too? Instantly red flag, right? So I was like, well, what do you mean rent to own? This one is just a regular listing, standard listing. We need to go through your lender. And she's like, no, I saw it on Facebook. Again, red flag. I saw this listing on Facebook, and it's $800 a month rent to own. Well, in the state of Texas, rent to own is not really rent to own. Like, there's seller financing, but rent to own is not a real thing like you would think it would be. So we talked about it for a minute and realized that this house was not the house for her because it was listed for about $190,000, and then the rent-to-own price was $800 a month, which just isn't a realistic number for a mortgage payment at that price, nor a rent price for that price either. So it was just kind of hard, but at the same time, I'm very glad that she called me and didn't call the person on the scam post. So we sent the scam post over to the listing agent. We got it squashed. Everybody reported it and all of that. But those scams like that are out there. They look very serious. And I mean, these people know what they're doing, and their end game is to get your money. So I'm going to flip it around to Charlie Hoitt, and he's going to tell you a little bit about what to do whenever you encounter a rental scam.
Hi, Charlie Hoitt from Century 21 Kearney Associates, property management and farm and ranch real estate. And Jenni and I are here talking to you about rental scams and real estate scams. So in the property management realm, we see a whole lot of these scams. I get it almost weekly. And I've got a couple stories for you as well from about some clients and one who actually paid. So what I do typically with the rentals is I do post them. They do go out to Zillow and all the rental websites. And to Facebook Marketplace, and that's where we're kind of seeing where those scams are originating from. And when I put those in, generally on the scammers will take the property pictures and post them and change the rents to, just like Jenni said, some number that doesn't really make sense. The story I have with the person who actually paid the person was that they were going to a property. I happened to be at the property, showing the property at the same time, and the person called me and said, oh, I'm supposed to see this property. Are we still meeting today? And they thought my name was Dave or some name that was not, but they used my number as well. And so they'd already paid $200 as a security deposit, and they were told the rent was $800 a month, and it was really $1,350 a month. So again, like Jenni said, be careful with those things that sound too good to be true, and always check. And for me, on our rental properties, we've always put in, I've started putting in scam alerts and to call myself or our main number on the office to check with before paying any money at all. So please do not pay any money if you see it. Like I said, what the scammers do is they take our property pictures, take everything from somewhere like Zillow or apartments.com and put it to a Facebook post and say, hey, I'm the property manager, contact me. Don't worry about contacting those Kearney people, that kind of stuff. And they'll do everything to get money out of you before you even see the property. And sometimes they even ask for, and not in this case, but I heard another one from another property, is that they asked for a deposit of about $100 to go in and actually just view the property. So that was an interesting one as well. Other than that,
okay. One more thing, whenever we talk to clients, we meet buyers and sellers alike. At the beginning, you are, as one of our best practices, you sign a wire fraud warning. And it just talks about wire fraud. Like, it's a big scam too. Lots of once your information's out there, lots of people or lots of scammers are going to reach out to you via email, usually, sometimes through the mail, things like that, about wiring them money, sending them money. Just go ahead and send your funds over to this title company, or go ahead and send your funds here and we'll get you closed or paid faster, and things like that. So very legit looking emails, letters, whatever it ends up being, they do look legit, but just make sure that you're talking to your realtor before you send money anywhere. There are times where you will need to wire money for closing or for earnest money, things like that. But just be very, very cautious. Always talk to your realtor, your lender, your title person. That's what we're here for. We're here to make sure that you are able to buy that property, because there have been many people that have lost out on everything because they wired their funds to the wrong person and now they no longer have them to close.
Other than that, realtors, be careful as well. You'll get a lot of scams on this. I see this with land. Is some of these scammers look at recent obituaries of absentee owners. Maybe somebody that was older that lived in a retirement community out of state and doesn't really do much with that property. That maybe they have a property manager, or maybe one of their relatives manages it for them. But they'll email you and say, in the typical wording is, hey, I have a property for sale, and say the one I've been getting recently is Hockley County. And could you price this out for me and send over kind of what your requirements are to list this property and how much you'll charge and that kind of thing. And they will never really get back to you. And they'll be, oh, just go ahead and list it. Well, no, I need to talk to you. Please make sure you're trying to get them on the phone. And if they're resistant to getting on the phone, you know there's an issue. And that's pretty much all I have for both you realtors and as renters. So thank y'all for listening.
Them to close. So just a heads up all around, realtors, buyers, sellers, tenants, anybody, scams are out there. And if you have any questions, call us. We're happy to, answer questions. We're happy to help you through the process. And if you ever see one of our listings, because people do take our listings and photos and steal those pictures and take them out there and put out scams, usually on Facebook Marketplace. I know we mentioned that a lot, but Facebook Marketplace is pretty hot right now for the scammers. So just be aware, and we just wanted to drop some information for y'all today. So I hope this was helpful. And if you need any more information, call us. Our office number is 806-783-0020. Bye.